Okay, tonight on Maldo's Magic, I have the honor of bringing on the show again, Brother Rene Perez. Tonight we're going to be discussing the ancient mysteries and Freemasonry on this auspicious day, All Saints Day, right after Halloween. So, welcome, brother. Thank you for coming on the podcast again.
Thank you, brother. It's a pleasure, brother. The second one, right?
I think it's the second one. Yeah. This is still for
Yeah,
me. This is season one. I want to bring back some more people because, you know, 1 hour is sometimes not enough, right? Sometimes, to have that conversation and let it flow. But, there's tons of
correct.
topics and stuff. So thank you for
Mhm.
coming back on the show again
Of course,
for
yeah.
my season one. Yeah.
Of course, brother.
Yeah. So I want to dive into it. So basically, I had some questions lined up for this time around. So given that it's All Saints Day, um, a time when we were honoring saints, right, and those who've passed away, right? That's what usually they do. How do you think this holiday spirit resonates with themes in Freemasonry? Are there symbolic connections between honoring the deceased and Masonic ritual or philosophy, you think?
Well, All Saints Day. Well, the thing is, we are in the constellation of Scorpio season,
Okay.
and in Mexico they call it el Día de los Muertos, right?
All right.
And actually today is really Halloween. The 31st is actually Hallow Eve. You know,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, All Hallows Eve. That's why they say that. Okay. All
Hallows
right.
Eve.
Now I
Yeah.
get it.
So this is the day where according to some ancients, that this is the time where you honor your ancestors, and this is the time where the souls come and descend and visit and things like that.
Oh,
But
wow.
if you really want to dig into it, there's a book. Damn, I wish I had it now. By Alvin Boyd Kuhn called The Esoteric Meaning of Halloween.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very good one, and very small to read. And but in connection to Freemasonry, this is the time where, in the ancient mysteries, where they do the initiations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even in Egypt, it always occurred in the constellation of Scorpio season,
Why is that?
because the zodiac sign Scorpio is the sign of the initiate or the occultist. It is the eighth sign, but it's the
Oh,
sign of
okay.
death, right? It's the sign of death, not in
Okay.
terms of like real death, but more of a resurrection of change. Not resurrection, I'm sorry, change and transformation, more of a transformation. Because this is the time when the sun is goes into the fall and it gets stung by the constellation of Scorpio. It dies,
Oh, I see what you're
and
saying.
then
Okay.
you see what I'm saying to you,
Yeah, okay.
and and it gets cold, the coldest times, and the sun is not as strong, then dark days and stuff like that. But the constellation Scorpio have always been associated with transformation. So this is the
Okay.
time of transformation and contemplating and talking about and your ancestry. But at the
Okay.
ancient schools, yes, this was the time they do initiations.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, because of the esoteric content of Scorpio.
So another question I had is, so how have the ancient practices of commemorating ancestors, like right, whether it's like Egyptian Book of the Dead, or the Greek mysteries, or Roman funerary rites, potentially influenced Masonic views on life, death, and the afterlife? So you think that those maybe had some kind of an influence on the Masonic like view on the afterlife, maybe?
There's a possibility. Yeah, there's some sort of a possibility. There's been some debates and Masonic scholars. They try to trace the lineage of Masonry to Egyptians because Masonry it's like an onion, so the more you peel, the more you see some connections with different other mystery schools. You see some sort of Greek in there, you see some sort of Egyptian. It all comes from the same source. So Masonry is a kaleidoscopic of all these esoteric mystery schools.
Okay.
If you read the Regis manuscript, the Crook manuscript, which I do have, the
Okay.
Crook manuscript is the second after the Regis
Let me write this
manuscript.
one down. So the first
Yeah,
one's a crook, you said?
the Crook manuscript. Yeah. So you heard about the Regis manuscript, right?
Yes, that's a very, very
Okay.
popular one.
Right. Now the Crook manuscript is the second oldest. It talks about how Masonry has the connection of Hermeticism, Egyptians, etc.
Really?
Yeah, talks about
I
that.
wonder why isn't this mainstream, right? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's like not a lot of Masons really look into those things because there's
Okay.
debate. They don't believe it. They don't think that it has some sort of Egyptian sort of connection or Greek connection, Roman connection. However, we do know that it comes from the Comacini people from Pompeii. The Comacinis, which for Rome had they were Masons too. And now you would say, okay, but then Pompeii has, what is it, Italy? Oh, but
Yeah.
it's in Italy. How do you have Egyptian? Okay, but if you go to Pompeii, they're worshiping the cult of Isis. Isis come from Egypt,
Okay.
right? So yeah, and there's a symbol there that was collected by the British Museum. They have it in the British Museum, and it's called the Memento Mori. It's a skull. Yeah,
Ah. Okay.
and now you get my drift, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you get my drift. What I mean. So there's a
Okay.
skull that was collected. It was a kind of like mosaic, right? Thing with the skull in it, with the butterfly ear. There's some sort of esoteric connection there. And also, another thing is in Pompeii, there is a gallery it's called the Hall of the Gallery or Gallery Hall, and beautiful paintings. And the paintings, you go inside and you got beautiful paintings all over like this.
Okay.
But once you go into this temple, the first painting is talking about steps of initiation. And you get the second page painting, which talks about that step. This painting, that is the step of Dionysus.
Oh, Dionysus.
This is the initiation of Dionysus. The Dionysus, the ending, he meets Demeter,
Okay.
and he's laying on her lap, and he finishes initiation. So sort of it's like he connects with his divine feminine in a sense, right?
Okay.
Now, this image should be very interested to Masons because he's actually wearing one sandal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And now is that something that was a
So
mural that was like from the like it's like that was from the ancient time mural, like that was an
yeah,
old
this is
mural.
a
It wasn't
yeah,
like a
you could
recent thing, right?
no, it's an ancient time mirror. You can actually research it, and it's a
Oh.
hall
Okay.
where the paintings are Dionysus' initiation steps. Then when he gets to Demeter, the women, the divine feminine, he lays on her lap. But he's actually she's kind of finessing him and showing him love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because
Okay.
Demeter was the goddess of harvest.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, understand that. So Dionysus is the same as Bacchus. He was the god of wine.
Okay.
Dionysus' name is Dios Nisus, or God of Isis, right? That's Dionysus,
Oh wow.
right? So now he has one slipper on.
Hmm.
Yeah. So to answer your
Yes.
question, there's some
Uh-huh.
elements to it, to the Egyptian, there's some elements to Greek and Roman mysteries. I tell you something very interesting. If you read Plutarch was a Greek philosopher who was initiated into the Egyptian mysteries. And I mean, when you read Morals and Isis by Plutarch,
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of Masonic connection there. And only a Mason understand when you read it. Like he talks about 3, 5, and 7. He talks about the triangle, the 47 problem of Euclid.
Oh
He talks
really?
about all that. Yeah. He mentions all of it, but you really have to have the eyes to see.
Okay.
And if you read it, of course, it's going to go through a lot of brothers' heads because they're not paying attention, or they're not really well read in certain histories and certain other esoteric subjects.
Okay.
But when you read it and you really pay attention, you take your time, you can see a lot of Masonic elements. I'm going to give you an example. When he talks about Isis and the 14 pieces of Osiris. Now, of course, he says that the 14 pieces are related to half of the 14 phases of the moon. Because 14 plus 14 is 28. So the moon
Okay.
has 28, is 28 in the moon. And in fact, back in ancient times, women, in order to calculate their menstrual cycle,
Mm-hmm.
humans have 14 This is called phalanges, these lines. So you got 14 of these in one hand, and
Oh
14
wow.
in the other hand is 20, 28.
Wow.
So, um, so the 14 pieces, and then the 13th piece she couldn't find. She couldn't find.
Really?
Now, Isis is considered the weeping widow, right? And Horus is considered the son of a widow.
Hmm.
Remember, her husband died, so
Yeah.
right. And she gets cut up in he gets cut up in 14 pieces. And there's many stories. One of them is cut up in 26 pieces. There's another story cut. There's many versions of it. But the most uh, prominent one is the 14 pieces.
Wow.
So the 14th piece she couldn't find. Okay, the phallic, right? Because he throws it in the water. Now, before I get into certain things, you
Hmm.
have to remember the phallic. People, you would think that is a sexual thing. It's not a sexual thing. They write the stories are cryptic.
Okay.
Okay, so the phallic symbol represents the lost word. It was the lost wisdom. That's what it was.
Oh
So the
wow.
phallic was the completion of the half of the piece of Osiris. Osiris meant many eyes. That's what Osiris means. Osir means many
Oh,
eyes.
see.
That's what his name
Okay.
means. So the eye of Osiris meant knowledge or wisdom. So it's the lost wisdom that was missing. So she had to find these pieces of wisdom and try to put them together. So she tries to find the one piece she couldn't find to complete, to bring this wisdom back. In fact, Plutarch says himself, the story of Isis
Hmm.
and Osiris and Set was a story of wisdom and ignorance. That's what he says.
Oh wow.
Okay? That's what he says. So the
Okay.
story, Set, or the brother of Osiris who killed her brother, he's ignorance. And Osiris was wisdom. In fact, Plutarch says Isis name means wisdom. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Sophia, the feminine aspect, wisdom,
Yeah.
it's the
Right.
same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's looking for this lost piece. She can't find it. So you know what she does? She creates a substitution.
Oh whoa.
And this substitution is what gave birth to Horus. Okay? And a lot of things that you read Plutarch, interesting
Yeah.
enough, is that Plutarch says that the phallic gets eaten, those in the water, but it was eaten. He mentions 3 fishes.
Hmm.
So the lost wisdom or the lost logos, I would say,
Okay.
was eaten by 3 fishes. So you must pay attention to that.
Okay. All right.
If you get my drift, if you get
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell you.
Yes.
Okay? So this is similar. Okay? Is what I'm saying to you. So she creates a substitute and then give birth to Horus.
Yeah. That sounds familiar somewhere, right?
Correct.
Substitute.
Yeah. So it's but you really have to pay attention to Plutarch. So yeah, it has some sort of connections.
Okay. Um. So now my next question was the influence of Egyptian mysticism, right? So Egyptian mysteries, especially those around Osiris and the concept of eternal life, they have fascinated people for centuries. You just kind of touched on that, really. Um, what elements of Egyptian spirituality or symbolism are echoed within Masonic rituals? I mean, what you can talk about, obviously.
Of Egyptian?
Yeah, is anything like those
Um,
Cyrus mysteries? There, I, I'm thinking. It reminds me of maybe Third Degree a little bit,
I mean, a
kind of, but
little bit.
not exactly.
Yeah. I mean, let me think. Um, you know what? I can't, because one thing I would say is that Hiram's name is very similar to his name it could be the same as Horus. Because in Hebrew, the
Mm-hmm.
word Hiram is not spelled with an H. The Hebrew
Hiram, right?
spell it as Hiram. It's with a
Hiram.
CH.
Oh, Hiram.
Yeah, Churum, but
Oh,
they don't use
the
vowels.
het. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, so they don't use vowels. So his name would be Chrm,
Okay.
right? As Haram, and but because the ch is interchangeable with h,
Mm-hmm.
so now you take the m out, you get the word hr or chr. So that's how you spell Horus. It's the same thing,
Oh.
right? It's the same thing.
Okay.
But Horus is the Greek version. His real name is Heru with a U at the end. It's where you get the word hero from. The word hero, that comes from Horus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess he's considered the hero of the story, right?
Yeah, he's the hero's journey,
Yeah.
right? So now you have the 12 fellow crafts of masonry because Horus has to climb up to the 12 steps. You get what I'm saying to you?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And also Horus means hours, right? The word hours actually is an anagram for the word horse. You could spell the name Horus with hours,
Oh, wow.
right? But Horus, we actually in Spanish, we say his name. We call it, well, how do you say time in Spanish?
Tiempo. No?
No, hora,
Oh, hora. Okay.
hora, like now, like
Oh,
ahora,
ahora. Sí.
or que hora,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
What time is it?
Yes.
That's the same as Horus, same, hora. That's,
Oh.
because remember, we don't use the H. The H is silent.
Yes.
So ORA is hora, same as Horus. That's how you spell it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where you get the word horoscope from. You know that, right?
That I did not know.
Yeah, the
So
horoscope.
horoscope, because it has to do with Horus, and
Horus, yeah, the
horoscopes
horoscope.
it connects to the 12 signs of zodiac. So
Yeah.
it's
The
basically
12 steps he has to go through.
okay.
Horus is the same as, remember, his Egyptian name is Heru, but it's the same as Hercules. Hercules or Hercules is 12 labors,
Oh my
right?
goodness. So
Man,
wow. So it's
yeah.
almost all connected from
Yeah,
ancient Egypt or the similar
yeah.
stories, right?
It's very similar. But if you know a little bit of some etymology, you have to know the languages.
Etymology, yes.
But so yeah, so Horus you can spell without the M, you get Heru or Haram.
Haram.
Haram without the M, you get the same. So you put Heru with an M is Haram. So you can spell say CHR is the same as that's how you say Christ
Oh
as well.
wow.
Yeah. Right? So in fact, that's what the CHR is the Cairo in Greek. That's how you say
Okay.
Cairo. The Cairo in
Cairo.
Greek.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, so Hiram, you can Hermes, same thing.
Wow. So it's all connected.
It's all connected. Hermes because mes means son of in Egyptian. So Hermes or Haro is the son of Horus. Horus could be
Oh really? So Hermes could be the
Hermes.
son of Horus?
Horus, because apparently this is what I've heard. This is
Yeah.
what I've read. So I'm not. This is something that I've read. So don't quote me on this. So Isis and Horus makes Horus. I mean, Isis and Osiris creates
Mm-hmm.
Horus.
Yep.
Then Horus and Isis creates Hermes.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
supposedly.
because so let's think about if Isis represents like wisdom, right?
hmm
What does Horus represent then? So I'm trying to
Light.
understand. Light
Horus
is
means light.
so is the light and wisdom, make Hermes, which is the
Yeah,
messenger, right? Or
the messenger. So you could say knowledge and wisdom. It's the same.
knowledge and wisdom.
Or understanding, right?
Okay.
Kabbalah, if you understand
Yeah.
Kabbalah, right?
Yeah.
So Hermes is the hermaphrodite because he's the combination between the male Horus and
hmm
the feminine Isis,
Oh wow.
right? So he's the hermaphrodite. That's what Hermes means, hermaphrodite, the combination of both,
Oh wow.
right? So, but he's also Thoth,
Yeah. Right.
But no one knows. Yeah, he's also Thoth. But but yeah. So yeah, there's some Egyptian elements there.
Really.
Yeah.
So it's a good segue to like I feel like the Greek mystery. So the next one I have is the Greek mysteries and Masonic symbolism. So meaning the Eleusinian mysteries of ancient Greek, right, focus on themes of rebirth and
Mm.
enlightenment. Do you see a parallel between these Greek mysteries and the teachings of Freemasonry?
A little bit.
A
So
little bit, right?
it's
Not that
yeah,
much.
a little, not too
Well,
much.
we
Like,
have Pythagoras we hear about, so with
mhm.
geometry and stuff, maybe.
Right, right, right. But I think the Eleusinian mysteries, I think they have seven initiations, if I'm mistaken, right? And the highest was the Raven, right?
That's like
And
kind of
I
like
think
Mithraism, yeah. Okay.
actually no, you're right. Because sometimes I get confused with Mithraism and Eleusinian mysteries. It's
I
like almost the same.
I think Eleusinian was like
It's
Persephone, maybe Persephone going
Persephone
down,
and
right?
Demeter,
Going down.
correct.
Okay.
Yes. She goes on to the underworld and stuff like that. So it is the Persephone, there's some elements of Persephone there. I mean, there's
Really?
some elements of it, of Eleusinian and Masonic sense, because Persephone represents the harvest. She's in Demeter, right? And you have Demeter is also called Cybele in some of other languages. She's called Cybele.
Okay.
Now, I can get into what that means, but because we are recording, I will tell you
Yes.
off camera, right? Because
Of
I'll tell
course.
you
Yeah.
off
Of
camera
course. Yeah.
why. But now, the Persephone, it can be related to more of the fellowcraft section because she is the she is the goddess of harvest.
Oh, that
Okay.
reminds me of that. That okay. I see what you're talking about.
Yes, you get what I'm saying.
With Father
She's the
Time.
god
Yeah.
for the time, and exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that section. Now, if you want to go to Mithraism, you do have one of the degrees that has to do with half of a lion and the seven serpents that comes around his body, which is
Hmm.
called Lion Petus, Lion of Petus, something like that. He's
Oh,
the
really?
fifth degree. Yeah, I think his initiation is the fifth initiate. Let me see. I'll tell you right now, actually.
Yeah, I've read some about it, but I haven't really
Yeah.
studied full extent, like with it. But I know
Yeah.
there's definitely some
Oh,
similarities between Mithraism and
yeah. I'll show you
Masonry.
some good stuff. I got a lot of good stuff here. So
Yeah.
like this one is good, and this one is pretty good,
Okay.
right?
I think
So
okay. All right.
Lucian Mystery writes, right, but Dudley Wright. But one of them I remember reading on it, and here it goes. So actually he's Kronos, the lion guy. He's Kronos, the serpent.
Oh, Chronos. So that's
Yeah,
Saturn.
he's Saturn supposedly. Head of a lion and his body is enveloped by a serpent. The multiplicity of attributes which his statues are loaded is keeping with the kaleidoscopic nature of his character. He bears a scepter. He's the sign zodiac engraved on his body. So the sun, the ecliptic, is engraved on his body, the whole zodiac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, his name is Leon Trisophilis. That's his name. I don't know how to
Okay.
say the name, but he's considered a lion, you know. But I think he is the fifth degree. Yes, he would be called also. Wait, he would be called Azura, something like that. Azura, something like that in that sense. I forgot the name, but it's
That's very
Azura. It starts with a
interesting
Z.
because of
Yeah,
that's third degree, right? The grip. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a little interesting, and but he's more of the fifth initiation in the Mithraic mysteries.
You know what I heard
He's
too? I heard that if according to like the Royal Arch, but like esoterically, the arch itself at the keystone kind of they say connects to Cancer, but they said in the past
mm,
that spot used to be for Leo.
yes,
Some
because
say that in the
it's
past, right?
yeah, yes.
Which
So
almost makes sense, really.
it kind of makes sense, but you got to remember that the month that is aiming between July is also Leo and Cancer's month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it is both.
Yes.
But I would say it aims more into, you could say Leo and Cancer. Um, so probably Cancer or probably Leo. It could be either both, but it's both in the same month of Leo in July.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can see how that will be in Leo,
Yeah.
but I think some would say Cancer because the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, These are the two solstices and the two Saint Johns. That's why.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's why.
Yeah, yeah, that's why.
That makes sense. That definitely
Yeah.
does. Now, how do you think Greek philosophers such as like Pythagoras, Plato, who were influenced by mystery schools, right? We know they were influenced by mystery schools. They had their own mystery schools. How do you think they have shaped Masonic principles, especially regarding the pursuit of wisdom?
Interesting. There's a story of King. Oh man, I forget his name. I know it was King Louis or King Edward in London. In London,
Oh, really?
but he was trying to divorce his wife because one of his
Was it
wives
Henry
was
the
too
Eighth?
old.
Maybe Henry the Eighth.
Maybe Henry VIII.
Yeah, he had
Maybe
many wives. Yeah.
he had many wives. Yeah, and I think he was trying to bear a child, but one of his wives was too old. So he needed to get a younger one. But in order to do that, he needed to divorce his wife.
Yeah.
So he went into the library or something like that, and he tried to look for something, and they
Mm,
encountered a document, a Masonic document.
really?
And this Masonic document says the individual who brought Freemasonry to England was a person named Peter Gowers. Now, Peter Gower is the French pronunciation for Pythagoras. Pythagoras.
Oh, Pythagoras. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Peter Gower. That's
Okay.
how the French say his name. And of course, Egyptian, his name is Pythagora. That's how you say his Egyptian name.
Okay.
Ptah, the father of Ra.
Oh,
Right?
Ptah. Okay.
Ptah.
Oh, Pythagora. Oh, I get it now. Wow.
Pythagora. Yeah,
Oh
that's how
my
you say it.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and Plato and them, yes, there's some Pythagorean, your question is if there's influence of Pythagorean and Plato, right?
Yeah, because it's like we know that like Pythagoras and
Well,
Plato, yeah, were
yeah,
involved in mystery schools, right? So,
yeah. So you got the Pythagorean triangle, right? You have the 47 problem of Euclid.
okay.
So, and a lot of their influence has a lot is in Masonry. So the 3 5 the 3 5 and 7s, that comes a Pythagorean. So, you have to remember that the at one point in the old rituals, 3 5 and 7 was important because they represented the length of the staffs of the three grandmasters of Masonry. So Solomon, for
Mm-hmm.
example,
Yeah.
or Hiram of Tyre, his staff was maybe 3 centimeters, 3 inches, I don't know,
Okay.
3 feet probably. And then Solomon's was probably 5, and then Hiram Abiff was 7. Because
Really?
at one point, when you get your first degree, you will have to wait 5 years to get your second degree. Then you have to wait 7 years to get your third degree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they used to ask you, what is your age? You say 5. What is your age? You say 7. That's how they used to say back in the day.
Okay.
How
Okay.
old are you? Oh, I'm 3. That means you EA. How old
I
are
see.
you? I'm 5. That means that's how they used to do your age.
Oh, wow.
So it makes sense, right? And at that time, the Pythagoreans, they say that odd numbers and even numbers are masculine and feminine,
Yep. I heard that.
right? And so the odd number 3 is a masculine number. And even number 5 is a feminine number. Then you get 7, which is the combination of both. Okay? So, meaning like, and you have the 4 number, which is the ninth number. There's a fourth one.
Okay.
It
Oh,
goes
really?
3, 5, 7, and 9. Yes. That's
Yeah.
how
And
it
then that,
works.
and then it
Yeah.
kind of to me it shows connections to like further concordant bodies and stuff.
Yes.
In a way,
So,
right?
in a way, yeah, exactly. So you have that 3, 5, 7, and 9, and right, because you get the 3 degrees, and then you get the extra, what is it, 4?
So the 7 right there.
Yeah, 7. So that's how it works, So I would say there's a lot of Pythagorean influence in the Masonic crafts, You
Okay.
know, I mean, look at the apron. The apron is a square and a triangle, and the
Wow.
three
Yeah.
shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Okay.
see, look at this. And this is
All right.
interesting.
Yeah.
So the square and the triangle. So the apron has that. So the the circle is there, in fact. It's just that the circle represents you. You are. And then the square and the triangle is there in your sense. And what symbol is that? That's the symbol of alchemy,
That's
correct?
Philosopher's Stone, right?
The philosopher's stone.
Wow. That's that whole picture of that guy with the square with the big compass against that brick wall, right? The famous one we see like Rosicrucian iconography, and he's like
That's
doing
from
it. Oh
that's
wow.
from Michael Mayer when he's aiming the
Bro,
wand.
I love Michael Mayer stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, he's aiming a wand to these kids,
yeah.
the woman and the boy, and then in the middle of a square, circle, and triangle,
Is that baby
because
Isis and Horus?
it represents the spirit and the soul. It represents the spiritual and the material. It represents the Cupid and Psyche.
Oh, okay.
That's what it represents. Okay. And it's the philosopher's stone is you. You are the
Yeah.
philosopher's stone. But the secret of the philosopher's stone is the soul and the spirit. It's the combination of both of you. And so now, what I just told you about the square and the triangle and the circle.
Yeah.
Now, a circle is supposedly is 22, um, not 360, but it represents 22, supposedly. Why? I need to Google that. You need to Google that right now if you can. Why is a circle represents 22,
All right. Let's see.
right? Let's see. I think it's the radius, correct?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, degrees, right? Okay. Ready?
Degrees.
So in mathematics, a circle representing 22 degrees usually refers to an approximation of the mathematical constant pi,
There you
where
go.
it's 27 and divided by 7, right? So it's
Okay,
commonly
so
used as a fractional representation of pi,
there
meaning
you go.
the circle is related to calculating its circumference or area using the approximation of pi as 22,
There.
so
Okay. Now, very interesting, right?
yeah, wow.
22 Hebrew letters, etc.
Oh
Now,
my goodness.
very interesting, right?
Shit.
So 22, the square is 4.
Yep.
So 25, 23, 24, 25, 26. Then you get the triangle.
Okay.
What is that? How many?
29.
Right. How many degrees you need in Scottish Rite?
Oh, we wait 29, right?
You need 29.
Because in total, because we already took the other three.
Exactly. So that's the 33 right there. You get my drift? So
And
you're
then,
already
oh my goodness, yeah, this is like it's a little mind blowing because you don't.
right. Because now you get the apron, and the apron
Hmm.
represents the circle. It's in your apron.
Yeah.
So they represents those numbers, 29. Now you're already a master mason. You got those three degrees. Now you have to get the extra 29 to get the 33.
So yeah, but this is a hot topic, right?
Yeah.
Because all right, I'll tell you why. Because some may say and that masonry really only consists of the first 3 degrees and the Holy Rolled Arch. That's according to the the
Andrew Hammer.
the but yes, Andrew Hammond. But then
Mm.
it's basically cited from the Articles of Union, right, with the two Grand Lodges in England, 1814, around
Yeah.
there. Don't quote me on that, but that's why my whole thing has been like, wait, no, but Scottish, right? There's some deep stuff in there,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it's called the Halt Grad Academy. It's really considered the high grades.
Right.
But some say I'll give you why. 'Cause this is what they say, because from the first through the
Hmm.
seventh, it's an uninterrupted rite. Like the initiation flows perfectly, right? The story and everything. But when we go into the Scottish Rite, it technically
Hmm.
starts at the fourth. So
Right.
it's not like an initiatic rite where it's like consistent, like first through third, first through seventh. So they say for that reason, it's really. I still think it's masonry, but it's I think you would
Let
have
me
to
ask you
kind of,
this.
yeah.
How many degrees, because originally it wasn't 33. It was, what,
No, 20
27?
25 was the
The highest.
the
Yeah.
Franken manuscript. Those
Right.
grades, Stephen, right, Morin, right? What's his name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Estefan.
Stephen
Yeah,
Moore. Yeah, Stephen
yeah.
Moore. Yeah.
He Stephen Morin on. He it was really 25 degrees, and then
Right.
eventually they added some more, and then
Yeah.
eventually the northern and the southern are still even different as well. But Albert Pike was a big proponent of making it more esoteric with his research and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. So,
Not to go on a tangent here, but
no,
I don't
no,
know,
no, no.
just
It's good. It's good. It's good. So I would say that, yeah, the Scottish Rite does have a lot of esoteric stuff to it, depending what jurisdiction you're in, though, right?
yeah. Oh,
And
that
and
disclaimer.
disclaimer, right?
Yeah.
And I would say also that, in the York Rite section, now if you go to the Royal Arch, there's a lot of esoteric stuff in there. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Oh yeah.
And the reason is because it does complete some of the Blue Lodge stuff.
Yeah.
Then you have other things. Then you have the
Yep.
Scottish Rite. I would say
Hmm.
that Scottish Rite is more philosophical, while the York Rite is more theological. That would probably be the very differences, I would say.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
that's it.
because you
Okay.
got the
Okay.
philosophical kind of things in the Scottish Rite.
Yeah.
Then you have the theological kind of things in the York Rite, right?
Hmm.
So, and you have theological stuff in the Scottish Rite, but I would
Yeah.
say it's a
Some of
little bit
them.
more
Some stuff
philosophical.
seems.
Some of it is very
Some seems
theological.
like, whoa, I know this degree. Like I'm in this. I'm like, whoa, this
Yeah,
reminds you of this over here or that
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Some of the stories is the same story,
Yeah, some of the stories are the same story. But I
maybe
think
told a little differently. Yeah.
according to what I've heard, is that they had
Mm.
all these degrees. They had about 1,000 degrees at one
Wow. So
point,
many. Yeah.
and they didn't know what to do with them. So they
Okay.
had to create something out of them.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Um,
I like too because if you really look at it too, the symbol, right, double-headed eagle, right. So I don't
yeah,
think not many people talk about that as much, but obviously that also connects to the Holy Roman Empire, right, in the area of Europe in that time span where it meant like looking at the east and west, like because they were in the middle of Europe, that empire, I believe, right, and then the Spanish city of Toledo in Spain has the same symbol, double-headed eagle. It's very obviously common in Europe, but
mhm.
the esoteric
Yeah. It
significance of it,
represents.
like
Yeah, it represents the double. It used to be represented the double-headed phoenix. And
oh, double-headed
the
phoenix.
the phoenix. Yeah,
So
because it could be
rising
the
up.
phoenix
Okay.
or the eagle. Yeah, it's the rising and resurrection. You know, and the phoenix represents 365 in a year, 360. And it supposedly, according to ancient philosophers, that it lived 500 years, etc.
Yeah.
But it represents the sun. Now, it also represents the masculine and the feminine, actually, the
Oh,
double-headed
really?
eagle. Yeah, because you get what I'm saying too? Yeah. So, in a sense, in more of an esoteric level, it is saying that Adam and Eve was actually one body.
Oh,
So
I
Adam and
get it.
Eve is the
Okay.
double-headed. You get what I'm saying? So it kind
Yeah.
of represents that. It's more of an allegory because in Hebrew, Ish is female, Isha is male. That's how you say it.
Yeah. Like the Elohim is kind of like the okay.
Masculine and feminine in there, right? It's the plural, but it has Ish and Isha. Ish and Ish is the same as masculine and feminine. One is male. That's how you say female, Ish.
Ish.
And
Okay.
I think Isha is male. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a fluent, but it's masculine. But the word Ish or
Mhm.
Shin
Mhm.
means fire. It's in that word.
Oh yeah, Shin.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's fire.
Shin is there. Yeah.
You want to know
So
the
it's
interesting?
the.
Go ahead.
Mhm.
Sorry. Go
No,
ahead
go
though.
ahead. What you
Sorry.
were saying? No, no, no.
No, no. I want you to keep going on that. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what it is. The fire. So it's the alchemical fire. It's that thing there. That's what the resurrection of the eagle. I mean, the phoenix. Another thing is that the word phoenix can be related to Enoch
Phoenix.
because,
Okay.
yeah, because the Egyptian word for house is per. So, for example, per-o, you get the word pharaoh from that word. That's the original
Okay.
Egyptian word is pero. And the word pyramid comes from pyramidas or pyramidos, means fire in the middle, house. Per, house in the middle. And in Phoenician or Chaldean, pyramida means measurement. And the
Okay.
pyramid is the measurement of time.
Yeah, it
So
is,
now
right?
you got the phoenix being related to the pyramid now, right? Now, the Egyptian word for phoenix was called Ben-nu. That's how you say Ben, Egyptian word phoenix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the capstone that was on
Mm-hmm.
top of,
Yep.
right, the same in Royal Arch,
Oh, okay.
capstone is called the Ben stone. Interesting, right?
Ben Stone. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you say it. That's what they call it, Ben. And the word for phoenix is Ben-nu, right? So the triangle shape has always been a symbol for fire.
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
the Enoch, right, is per, right, and the word phoenix is Enoch because Enix. The X is interchangeable with the word ch, same
Oh,
pronunciation,
there goes the CH again.
right? So like you can say it's the same pronunciation. You can with the
Yeah.
ch at the end, you can say it similar like an X.
Yeah.
So Enix becomes Enoch. So per nak or phi nak or phoenix. It's the same.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because when
Yeah,
it goes to English, okay.
goes to English.
Wow.
So it could be the house of Enoch.
It's
So
funny you say that too because
yeah.
now I will interject because we're in the side of Scorpio now, right? And if
Hmm.
you do some research, Scorpio, yes, Scorpion,
The
but
phoenix.
the Phoenix, yes,
Hmm.
and in alchemy too as well. We also see it as an eagle. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's depicted as an eagle. So now this is another question I have. A little off topic, but the American eagle, right? It's so on an American flag. I've been noticing this recently. There's a globe there, and on top of the globe, on every American flag is the eagle, with its wings open. Could that be some kind of allusion to Scorpio power, Scorpio
Yes.
energy? Right. That's what I was trying to. I'm like, it came to me recently
Yeah.
because you see it in the Royal Arch as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Great question. Great question, actually.
Yeah.
Well, the eagle in the back of the dollar bill has 13 feathers. And the tarot card, what is the 13th card?
The Death card, Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Oh, now I gotta check.
And
Let me check. Hold on.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Look
all
at the
right.
dollar
So,
bill and count the feather.
count the. What am I counting? The feathers on the bottom.
Yeah. Of the eagle.
Okay. I think it's the what is the stripe? Something is 13, right? There's a lot of others. There's a lot of stuff on there. Are
Oh,
you
you
talking
got
about the?
13 olives.
Yeah. Okay. And
Now, the
the
feather
stars
of
too,
the
right?
eagle, the stars, but the feather of the eagle, there are 13.
Okay. On the bottom.
Yeah, so if you
Just
look at the eagle, the bottom of its feather, the bottom of its tail, there you go. So right there. So count the bottom. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, there's 9. Hold on. Hold on. There's 13.
I know there's 13 stars maybe up top, right?
No, hold on. Give me
No.
1 second. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
give me 1 second. I have it written here on me,
Yeah.
actually.
The
Yeah.
stars. There's 13 stars, Renee.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now.
Yep.
I have it written here with me.
And
Here
it's
it
very
goes.
interesting now. Now it's making sense. Pyramid, right?
Yes, the
Now it
pyramid.
makes
Here it
sense.
goes.
It makes
Yeah.
sense because pyramid, phoenix, they
See,
all make
the
sense
the
now.
feathers of the eagle's tail. Okay. Is okay. I'm sorry. The feathers of the eagle's tail.
Hmm.
So there are there are 9 feathers of the eagle's tail, right?
Okay.
Count. There's 9, right?
Yeah, I got 9. Yep.
Right. Or and there is. Tell you right. There's 13. Uh, where is it? 13 letters on the upper motto contains 13 letters, right?
And the stars too, I think, right? Yeah.
The stars.
E
And
pluribus unum, right? Unum. That's
correct, right?
one out of many, one, right?
Yes. And the nine feathers of the tail, it represents the courage, because nine has always been the Mars energy. It represents creation. But um,
I'm getting too. That's like Yesod. Look where it's placed at. That's like where Yesod is.
yeah, yeah. So there's nine feathers. Um, feathers. And you have, anyways, but
Yeah, I get
now,
it.
so 13, right? So the Scorpio is 13, but it
Yep.
represents the eagle because the eagle supposedly is the only animal that can see through the sun,
Ah, okay.
right? And it means wisdom, the eagle's eye.
Yep.
And the another thing in the Declaration of Independence, when the signing was done astrologically, the ascendant, even though the sun sign of America is Cancer, but
Mm-hmm.
the ascendant is Scorpio.
Oh, that's good. Now it makes sense. So
And guess what?
the
It's in
ascendant
13th degrees,
Scorpio,
and it's in
and it's in
13th
13th
degrees.
degrees.
Yeah,
So it was almost like they
yeah,
to say that they didn't know that. To say
yeah,
like you
yeah,
can't. There's no way you could say like
yeah,
it's too. There's no coincidence.
yeah,
I don't believe in that. So that's wow.
yeah. I mean, every country has a zodiac sign. They say Alaska is in the zodiac sign Scorpio, is why Alaska has the most high rape crimes,
Really,
supposedly.
it does. I
Yeah,
never knew that.
yeah, supposedly. But yeah, it has to do with the eagle, and the eagle is the phoenix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, I would say yeah, it has to do with that zodiac sign. And the reason Scorpio represents the phoenix because it's the sign that has to do with the lower nature. It represents the sexual energy.
Yep.
So what it is that every zodiac sign has a negative and positive. Every zodiac
Okay.
sign. But this is from my opinion.
Yeah.
When we come into the physical world, the reason we're dealing with the animalistic nature is not in sense of the temptation also,
Hmm.
but we're dealing with our zodiac sign personality. It's to overcome that.
Okay.
Overcome those personality and deal with the negative aspects of that sign of yours. Scorpio represents the lower nature of this animalistic nature is the scorpion. But when it defeats its animalistic nature of the scorpion, it can become the dove. It can become the eagle.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then it can change into the phoenix.
Yeah. Wow.
But every individual has that. Remember, even though you're an Aquarius, but
Yeah.
you're all of the zodiac signs.
Yeah. It's all of us.
You're all of it, you know.
And where do we see that? In the chariot shows us
The
that.
chariot.
When you're in the
Exactly.
chariot, you see the canopy of stars above him, which is
Hmm.
to signify that, and that's also Cancer, to signify your personality is really guided by the stars. And so all those energies are within us because we literally live
100%.
under them right there above us all. So
100%. Yeah. 100%.
that's great.
Yeah.
So I know we're getting almost to an hour. So I have maybe a couple more questions. I don't want to keep you out too late to Friday, right?
It's all right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So let me see the one I had over here. Basically, so let's go into now more like I love like so we went to Egyptian, Greek. Let's go to more like Roman traditions, right? A Masonic Brotherhood because I, I think there's something to connect there. So Roman society highly valued fraternity, right? Loyalty and public service. That was like a
Mhm.
big part of Roman society. Now, how might these values have influenced Masonic ideals, such as the sense of brotherhood and the emphasis on charity? So, do you think that there was some influence maybe from like Roman society,
Yeah,
how
I
it
would
was
say.
in a way?
Yeah, and like I said, that the Comacini people from Rome
Oh, okay.
were they have an influence of Masonry. That's probably probably one connection that we can trace on Masonic because they were called Masons, not Masons as we know today, like but they were Masons meaning builders, and they did
Yeah,
wear aprons. You know,
stonemasons. Yeah,
they were stonemasons, and they came from the Comacini people. And the charity, yes, I can definitely see that from the charity
yeah,
and the
yeah.
philanthropic stuff. You know, I could definitely see that aspect in Freemasonry. And some of the laws, because I think Rome, if I'm mistaken, were very into the law,
Roman law, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Roman law,
Yeah. That's
you
they had
know,
the republic. They had
yeah,
the senator. They had
correct,
everything. Yeah. They created annuities. Annuities was a Roman thing.
exactly. So a lot of that aspects, all that influence could have very deep influence in, and you know what's funny? It could be possible depending on, because England Masonic is could be very different than Scottish Masonic, and because Scottish Masonry is older than England. Is that England is the first Grand Lodge, while the first Masonic is Scottish.
Really?
And yeah, the Scottish is 10 times older than England. Their traces go back to 16
Oh, recorded.
recorded.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just that England is the first Grand Lodge.
Oh, I see. Yeah, though that's the thing too. The-
Yeah,
There was lodges before. People, I think they think that Masonry started in 1717. It
right.
didn't. That's when they
No,
got organized, and they
exactly,
wanted to put under one governing body.
exactly,
Because we
exactly.
know Elias Ashmole was in the 1600s. So we know he was in, and we know
Most definitely.
who was it? King James. We know he was initiated into a lodge too as well.
Yes, he was
But
initiated into lodge.
but he also I think there's a reason why Masonry might seem less like in England. Like he wasn't he did not like the esoteric as far as like I know he wasn't really into like they say occult and astrology. He was very I think more into the philosophical stuff. I guess he was very religious, in a way where
King James.
that's what I've
Yeah,
heard.
you know what's funny is that there's a lot of speculations of it. They also say that Shakespeare worked with King James and that he took out a lot of the esoteric aspects out of the Bible. That's another thing
Really?
I heard too. Yeah,
Wow.
of King James version. So, I mean, of course, King James is going to be religious because Masonically we have a Bible, you know. And we used, I think I don't know if we used it. We don't use the King James version.
Yeah, we do.
Um,
I think, right?
yeah, we do. So you do have that in that sense, So I mean, it's very possible, you
Yeah.
know, that yeah. I mean, a lot of the Masons at that time were very into esotericism. I mean, look what Mackey said it himself. He called them parrot Masons. You
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah. Mackey said he said in his own words that Masons who don't pay attention to the philosophical aspects of Masonry are just parrot Masons. What they do is they memorize ritual and repeat it. That's what they do.
Okay. Yep. Like a parrot.
So they're like a parrot, and they don't really deep dive into the esoteric or the philosophical aspects of Freemasonry.
And there's so many points, and that's why sometimes I find it like baffling, right? There's so
Mm-hmm.
many points where it's like it's mentioned, like some parts, without giving anything. Some stuff says, more ancient than this and then that. If what does that mean? Like you have to, they don't people they didn't just put random words together, right? So if
Right.
they're saying that, they're saying that something is dating back from ancient times. Like it's an ancient art,
Yeah.
but I think
And
it gets kind of overlooked in a way.
right.
But I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's a
mean, you
hot
do
topic.
have, it's a very hot topic,
It's a
right?
hot
But,
topic because it's like
yeah. And in all fairness, like, Masonry doesn't necessarily have to be all about esotericism,
no, no,
right?
no. It's
Yeah.
yeah, right.
That's the beauty about the beautiful part about Masonry is that you can join Masonry for however you want to um, um, engage in. You want to engage
Yeah,
in esoteric, you go. You want to
yep,
engage in philanthropic, that's beautiful. You want to engage in to meet people or meet brothers, beautiful. It's what, however, like one of the guys who raised me as a Freemason, he said, you put in Masonry, you get in Masonry what you put into it.
yeah, yeah,
And one brother, another mentor of mine says, because I used to complain a lot. So why these guys are not paying attention to philosophical aspect? He goes, and this is when he really opened my mind. He says,
really.
don't pay, don't pay too much or put too much energy into other people's version of Masonry. Create your own version of Masonry.
Okay.
And the reason that hits me, because as a martial artist, they say that you don't try to be a martial artist like your teacher. You create a martial arts style that complements your version of a martial arts style. Whatever complements your body type. Because my teacher is small. I can't do the same thing he does. I gotta
Oh, I
do
see.
create my version of it because of
Oh,
my
okay.
height. You get what I'm saying to you?
Ah, okay.
So when I join the craft, I'm creating my own way of masonry, my own version. What complements me and my energy and what I love about it. That's it. Some people join it too. I know a brother who does it just because that's the beautiful part about masonry.
Yeah,
I
I
know
see
a
what you're
brother
saying.
who was lonely and he needed camaraderie. He needed
Yeah.
brothers. And when he joined, the best thing that ever happened to him, you know? And it's not for everybody. And it's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It's like for me and you, we love it for for
Yeah,
different
you're
reasons.
right.
We
Yeah,
loved
yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
Yes,
Other
yes.
people love it for other reasons. That's why when you join Masonry, you create your own circle of brothers that complement you.
Ah, okay. Egregore, right?
That's all it is. You got brothers who want to hang out with brothers that like to go to bars and have a couple of drinks. They create their own little circle of brothers.
Yes,
That's
okay.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
But that's the beautiful part about Masonry, you know?
I see. So
Yeah.
now I want to segue into this more about mystery traditions and the Masonic temple. So like a temple is also important too as well, right? So many ancient societies, such as like Egyptians, um, Greeks, and even the Druids, right, had sacred spaces or temples for their mystery rites. Even the Mithraism, right, cult of Mithraism, they had sacred temples, designed for their rites and stuff. So how does these ancient temples compare to the symbolism and the design of Masonic lodges?
Interesting. So apparently, one of the secrets of what the stonemasons obtain,
Mm-hmm.
because you talk about the Egyptians and stuff like that, but the reason that makes stonemasons so beautiful, and apparently is what I've heard why they call them Freemasons,
Okay.
because they were great in building stuff. So they were free to travel to any other country. Before you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So they were free to go to every country. They were Freemasons. So they were operatives, right? And one of the secrets that supposedly they obtained was the secret of architecture
Mm.
and building. Like the secrets of what the Egyptians have say left behind is how they built the pyramids. How
Oh,
did they build these temples? That's been lost. So supposedly certain that tradition may have survived on the ground and passed on to other architecture or carpenters or masons, stone masons. That's why some masons, how they used to, the reason they call them Freemasons and they had degrees,
mm-hmm.
because you can tell a fellow craft according to how their skill was. So if you go
Ah,
into a country and they say, wait a minute, you know how to build? Okay, let me see, what's your skill? What can you do? Oh, I'm just a fellow craft. So they
mm.
already know what
I see.
capabilities you could do.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, okay, he knows how to do this, right? And so one of the secrets is the temples. And that's one of the traditions the Templars obtained as well. That's why
Oh,
when you
really?
go to a church,
Mm-hmm.
it's so beautiful because it's so perfect. The architecture, the geometry is so perfect and aligned that it can create a vibration energy inside.
Oh, okay.
That's why the temple is so precious
Yes. Okay.
and so vibrating when you go to the pyramid, because the way it's designed and the geometry and the the um the sound of the resonance of the
The
sound,
harmonic resonance they call
the
it, right?
harmonic resonance,
Okay.
the vibe is perfectly built that way on purpose.
Wow.
So that's why when you go into something, you feel great in there, and you go, "Oh my God, it's something," because the way it's built, perfectly aligned to obtain those harmonic resonance.
That's
So that's
amazing.
supposedly that was one of the secrets they obtained. They never told nobody how to build them, and the Templars learned that too as well because they're the one who built the Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
right.
temple, yeah, it's very important because the temples back then always was a copy to mimic the human body.
Yes.
Always,
Okay. I've heard of that.
always,
Okay.
yeah. So that's why the temples are very important, and it's your sacred. It's where you have your privacy and your sacred ceremonies. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be
Okay.
very sacred to you, the temple.
Wow.
Yeah, and no interruptions. So that's why temples are. I say a temple is very important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, all right. So moving along here, um, it's funny we did talk about that, so I could segue into that. It says the role of sacred geometry. Wow, it's like you kind of touched on questions
Yeah,
without even knowing the question. So
yeah,
to
yeah,
me, that's how telepathy works. I feel like.
yeah,
So
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the questions was geometry was sacred to the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, symbolizing cosmic order
Hmm.
and divine proportion. How has sacred geometry from these cultures shaped Masonic symbols such as the square and compass?
And compass, yeah.
Yeah.
So in astrology, you have that because if a sign is square, is 90
Oh,
degrees.
yeah. Okay. Look at that. And trine, right? They got trine.
That's the compass,
Oh
right?
my goodness. Okay, wow.
Yeah. So you have that. So that astrological, it's the compass. So you ever had the guy? There's an old image of a guy who looks like God, and he has the square and compass on Earth like this. He has it
Yeah.
on the image.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
It's That's what it represents. But you have to remember, this is how it works. The circle is created from a triangle
Okay.
because you put the triangle and you draw a
Yep.
circle from it. The
Ah,
compass.
this. Oh, the circle's created from a triangle.
Exactly. And the rest is square, right? So the birth of a circle is from a triangle, right? So, and another thing is in the sky, the way how astrology works or the zodiacs, it doesn't work. They think the sun goes like that, but the sun, the way it moves like a
Mm.
serpent. So it goes up from the Tropic of Cancer, goes down to the Tropic of Capricorn, goes up like that. That's how it runs.
Oh yeah, right. Wow.
That's how it moves. So if you ever look at the old maps, if you research the old maps,
Yeah.
you will notice the Tropic of Cancer Cap, and you'll notice that it had the zodiac signs are like this
Yeah, that's right.
on Earth. That's how it's supposed to be. So when it's like that, the four fixed signs in the zodiac,
Mm-hmm.
which you know in the Royal Arch,
Yeah.
if you put that like this, it gets a compass, which is Leo
Mm-hmm.
and Taurus up here, and
Okay.
you get the compass. Then you have the opposite of Leo, Aquarius,
Yeah, yeah.
opposite of Taurus, Scorpio, you get the square.
Oh, so oh.
Yeah. So that's what it's squaring to. Okay.
Wow.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it's creating to. I got this from a guy named Carl Anderson. He wrote a book
Mm-hmm.
years ago, the 1800s. But when he didn't say it that way, but the way I saw it written,
Mm-hmm.
I go, nah, that's what it's at, you know. So that's the square and the compass. But the square and the compass comes from the Star of David, right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Originally. What's my thing at? I hope my
Yeah, that's
wife
what it is.
here.
It's definitely looks like a Star of
Yeah,
David.
yeah. Hold on one second. I want to look for this something real quick. I hope. There it goes. I want to show you something. Okay. Yes. So this is what I mean. Can you see? So
Yep.
this goes like this. Here, here, here. So from here and here is Taurus and Leo. From here and here is Aquarius and Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
See?
Yep.
So you get these two that create this sort of, you know, in here. See the point here? In here.
Oh, I see.
So now you have this thing. You have the square and compass.
Huh.
This is the geometry.
Yeah.
So the signs are right here. These are the signs. They come here. You know what I mean? That's where they come
Yeah, I've
from.
never heard. Yeah, that's the first time I've heard that like that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I can show
No,
you.
and it makes sense
Yeah,
because those signs are like, Leo's opposite is Leo is like, the is Aquarius, right? So it's like
right,
if you really, if you look at it like a astrological chart,
correct.
it's evident,
And if you look at the old maps too, it's there too. The old maps.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. I see, yep,
Yeah,
Aquarius opposite of Leo, and then I
yeah.
see Taurus opposite of Scorpio.
And you see how the line, you see the little gold serpent line kind of wave.
Wow, yeah. So if you look at it, you're right. It makes, yeah, wow. It's like a
Yes,
compass and a square. Yeah.
yes. And you can see you see how it's making that line like this? That's just how the sun moves. Serpentine, with the
Could
word
be
seven. The word seven comes from.
Ouroboros. There's a lot of,
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's
wow.
always, yeah. That's how it works. Because the grade, what is the the feather serpent is the sun.
The feather serpent.
The feather serpent has always been the sun, which they used to call Kukulkan in Peru or
Well, they
Mexico.
said it
Mexico.
could be also the demiurge too, right? The snake with the head, with the lion head, right? Or
Right,
the
but the snake with the
Yalabao,
lion
the
head,
saints. Yeah.
and guess what? It's wrapped around him 7 times.
Yeah. Oh, seven times. Okay.
Yeah, because it's the 7 liberal arts sciences,
Yep. Yep.
right? The middle chamber, if we think of the 7 steps and stuff like that.
Okay.
So you have those sort of things in there, you know. And look at this. 7 liberal arts and sciences because you
Hmm.
get the 3 degrees in masonry and you get the extra 4 in the Royal Arch.
Yeah.
So those are and the Royal Arch supposedly completes the Blue Lodge degree.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does. I
Yeah,
believe it.
yeah. So red and blue creates purple.
Red and blue,
Yeah.
purple. Okay, and that's okay.
And Tyre was where the Phoenicians used to exchange purple.
Oh, really?
It was known for purple. And usually the king crowns of a
Hmm.
king is purple.
The
If you look at
crown's
the crown
purple.
of, yeah, the crowns of, you ever seen the royal kings every time they wear a crown?
Hmm.
What's inside is a purple thing on top.
Oh yeah, because purple is royalty.
It's royalty. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And you got to know too. So, like, interesting enough is that you have the arch, right? You have this arch, and from here is Aries to Libra,
Yeah, right. And
right?
okay.
And
Yeah.
supposedly here's the thing. So this is Sol, the sun. All this is the sun.
Yeah.
On, Om. Sol, on, Om. Solomon,
Solomon. Oh shit.
right? So Latin, Egyptian, On,
Hmm.
Helenopolis, and Om, Hindu,
Yeah.
right? So this is the thing I was telling you. This is the eye of Horus
Okay.
because this is the boat also.
Oh, the boat.
See, barco
Hmm.
is boat in Italians, but barco you get the word arc here.
Hmm.
Is the arc or arch,
Oh, okay.
and in Spanish the word for rainbow is arco iris. Notice Osiris is right here.
Oh
Put him
shoot.
on.
Yeah.
Because the eye of Osiris. That's how you say rainbow in Spanish. Arco iris. And what is the scientific word for eye?
The iris, right?
Iris.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So arch or royal, because raw,
Hmm.
like we say corolao is like a red, comes from the word red,
Yeah.
but it also has to do with the Aries because the word capitular or
Capitular.
royal arch
Yeah.
comes from the word caput in
Oh,
Latin.
Caput draconius.
Caput means what?
Yeah.
Head.
Head. Yeah. Cauda.
Yeah,
Tail. Yeah.
yeah. That's what the word capital punishment comes from, when you cut the
Oh
head
my
off.
goodness! Wow. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
it's deep.
yeah, yeah. So it's red. If you notice red, and you got Aries, which represents the Mars energy,
Hmm.
and it represents the head of the chapter.
And
You know,
what sign rules Scorpio?
Mars. Exactly, Mars.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's many ways you can put it in
Yeah.
together. Many ways. But like I said, we come into masonry for certain things. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't come in for masonry for
No, you're
that.
right.
You know.
And I think
Yeah.
that's too about my path too. Is like learning that. Like sometimes I guess I could I come in maybe the same way you came in, and I'm like, wait, I don't
Yeah.
get how come they don't and it's like it's
Yeah.
not about me putting
Yeah.
my how I feel or see things on others, right?
Right.
It's just everyone has to enjoy their
You got to
path
have a
in masonry.
balance too. You got to have a
Yeah.
balance.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
come
yeah,
into masonry because I have great friends in masonry too, but I came into masonry for esotericism. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
came into masonry for other things too, to become better and learn and
Mhm.
meet better men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have that balance. I can get into the esoteric and I can get into something else. It's just what's unnecessary for you may be necessary for someone else. It's that
Yeah.
kind of aspect to it, you know?
You're right.
So
It helped me out with public speaking. Like before, I couldn't do public speaking. I couldn't do any of this. I was
yeah,
literally like very nervous and
yeah.
scared to talk in public, let alone on camera. Now I'm like, it's easy.
It's easy now, right? So
Yeah.
it can, masonry does brings out certain things out of you that you never thought you had,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
It's
definitely.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful system.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's great. I think we could definitely end it there. I think that was
Yeah.
we got it. We hit on a lot of different topics.
Yeah.
And so thank you for coming on the show.
Of course, brother.
Um, I definitely would love to get you back on here again.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Hopefully in
so
person.
yeah,
Hopefully
if
in
you want to,
person.
hopefully in person. Yeah, so yeah, we definitely should
Yeah.
plan the next one in person.
Yeah.
Come out here. Maybe it could be before that movie night. We're already out
Yeah.
there. But yeah, if you have any final remarks, it's the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Uh, oh, thank you, brother. No, just to tell you guys, happy Halloween. I know it's past already, happy belated, and El Dia
Yeah.
de los Muertos.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time to think back of your family and ancestors, and
Okay.
that's why in Mexico, they will give fruits when they go into the cemeteries because they believe that even in the spirit world, you still have to feed them. You
Okay. Yeah.
know, that's why sometimes it's good to give foods out and stuff like that. But my birthday passed. But I don't really celebrate my birthday. It's 2 days before Halloween. When I was a kid, we
Okay.
used to celebrate on Halloween. But I don't
Yeah.
believe in birthdays. Usually I usually give a cake to my mom, and
Oh,
there's a
nice.
tradition that I have that I feel is very arrogant of us to, when our birthdays come, we over there partying and drinking, but you
Mm.
forget that your mother's the one that gave birth to you that day. So you have to
Yes.
show a little bit of appreciation to her. So what I do is I used to buy her a cake
Mm-hmm.
and say happy birthday to her, not to me, because of
That's
her giving,
powerful.
as appreciation for giving me life on this day. And perhaps the next day I will celebrate it, but usually it's my appreciation to her. So that's the tradition that I always have.
For me, I was born on my mother's birthday, so it's like,
There you go.
yeah,
That's a beautiful gift. That's interesting. I
yeah.
never knew that. That's cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're both
That's cool.
Aquarius, and then my brother was born a year later, the day before me.
Wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
triple Aquarius
Amazing.
in the house. Yeah,
That's amazing, brother. That's great, man.
yeah.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, thank you for coming on, and
Thank you, brother.
have a great night, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. All right.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.